Hello everyone, I'm Josh Atkins with the Bowling Green Fire Department, and this is Firehouse Kitchen. Today we have our administration staff, all three of our chiefs, here to show their recipe for a homemade pizza. So I'm going to allow our chiefs to introduce themselves and tell you a little bit about what they do with the fire department.
My name is Rob Gillum. I'm Deputy Chief of Logistics, and I basically handle the stuff at the department. I'm in charge of the fleet and the facilities. Try to make sure that everything is up and running and runs smoothly.
I'm Deputy Chief Brett Smith, Deputy Chief of Operations. So everything else with the fire department that Rob didn't just cover, that's what I've got. Personnel and operations, training is under me as well, although I'm not the Assistant Chief of Training. And just try to keep everybody rolling out the door the way we're supposed to.
I'm Justin Brooks, and I have the honor of being the fire chief for this great organization. These guys do all the work, and I just help do whatever I can to work for them and work for the other 138 that wear the uniform. It's a get to versus got to for me. I get to do this job, and again, I'm honored to be their fire chief.
All right, so why homemade pizza, and whose recipe was this?
So this is a recipe that my wife gave to me when I started with the fire department 21 years ago. The great benefit of pizza is that everybody loves pizza. There's a great variety. You can make it pretty healthy with lots of good fresh vegetables on there. You can make it a little bit less healthy for the people that don't like the vegetables. But we can make a pizza in the firehouse, and you can make your homemade dough. But in a busy firehouse where you never know whether you're going to have to run out the door to make a call, it's good to use a store-bought crust, and so that's what we've got here today. It's a recipe that you can make 100 different ways, and everybody will like it.
Along with pizza, which everybody loves, you know, we would love to cover a fire safety tip here as well. Could I get you, Deputy Chief Gillum, to discuss fire extinguishers and why it's important to know how to operate them?
Absolutely. So I actually happen to bring a fire extinguisher from our facility, and just keep in mind that not all fire extinguishers will look the same, but they all function similarly. So you may have a fire extinguisher that's similar to this in your kitchen, or it may be a little different, but they're all pretty simple to use as long as you follow this 4-step method, and it's called PASS. Use the acronym PASS. The first item is P for pull. You're going to pull the pin. If your fire extinguisher does not have a pin, it may have a retaining clip that you can also pull away from the fire extinguisher. This will actually arm the extinguisher. The next thing is going to be to aim. So this one has a nozzle. Some extinguishers just have the nozzle that's fixated to the top. And regardless, you're going to aim at the fire that you're trying to extinguish. But you don't want to just aim at the flames, okay? We want to aim at the base of the fire, okay? So P for pull, A for aim. The next one is squeeze. We can either squeeze the handle to release the agent, or it may have a trigger, so you'll want to squeeze the trigger. While you're doing that, the last acronym letter is S for sweep. We're going to sweep left and right until the fire is out, okay? So a couple of things about fire extinguishers. Before you use one, you want to make sure that it's ready to go, okay? So on an annual basis, you want to check your fire extinguishers. Most of them will have a little gauge that you can look to see if the pressure is accurate. Most of them have like a red, yellow, and green. We want that arrow to be in the green. That means that it's got full pressure. It also has an agent inside, which in this particular one is a dry chemical agent, and we want to make sure that it's ready to go, because after a fire extinguisher has been sitting for a long period of time, it likes to compact and not necessarily be ready to come out. So we'll take that extinguisher and then we'll tilt it back and forth until you can start hearing that agent swish around in there. And then once you do that and it's got the proper pressure, you should have a good fire extinguisher ready to go.
Okay. And I know that you mentioned the extinguishing agents. I know each extinguisher looks a little different, and for those at home, how do they know they're using the right extinguisher for the right situation?
So typically they have a pictogram on the side that will let you know what type of fires that they can handle. Most of them are A, B, or C. An A fire is just a combustible fire where you can use like a water or something similar. This will do A, B, or C, which B and C is either a liquid, like a grease fire, things of that nature. So it'll keep you from putting the wrong type of agent on the fire, because we don't want to put a water extinguisher to a grease fire, because all it will do is splatter that grease and then make your fire bigger. So we want to make sure that we're getting an extinguisher that will handle all of those things, because
Okay.
you never know what you're going to have to go up against.
All right. Back to the real reason why we're all here. This pizza, Deputy Chief Smith, will you kind of explain what we've got going on with what you're doing here?
Absolutely. We start off once we've put down the sauce, and then we go with the meats next. Pepperoni, ham, always big favorites in the fire station. We want some good protein in our pizza there. And then we start with the vegetables, and I like to go with some fresh vegetables, some good colors to go in there. The red peppers and the green onions, we cut these up fresh, and I like them to be a little bit thicker cut, something that's still going to have a little bit of crunch to it. I like my vegetables to be undercooked as opposed to overcooked. So we'll load that up. We've got 2 different pizzas actually going today, and one of them is just a meat pizza with the ham and the pepperoni, a little bit of bacon thrown on there. Once we get the green peppers and the red onions down, I like some spinach on the pizza. Try to make it, one of the great things about pizza is not just the variety, but it doesn't have to be junk food.
Right.
If you throw on some good fresh vegetables like this, you can still get a lot of good vitamins and everything else that you need in your diet. And great thing too, we make 2 pizzas and it feeds 4 people, which is what we have in most of our fire stations, and it works out great. You want to throw on just a little bit of cheese there.
All right. And with each of these segments that we've done here with Firehouse Kitchen, we've had kind of individuals from each rank kind of come in and talk about their experience with the fire department. So I'd like to get into some questions about the view from the chief's perspective with the Bowling Green Fire Department. So Chief Brooks, could you explain our mission and our vision within the fire department, and maybe talk a little bit about what you look for in firemen?
Sure. Our mission at the Bowling Green Fire Department is to serve, save, and protect, to make it better. Every time those tones drop, when 911 is dialed, we show up and we aim to make it better. It's kind of relatable to cooking. I'm sure every time the Deputy Chief Smith, when he was on shift and cooking, every time he made this pizza, he aimed to make it a little better than the last time. And that's what we're doing. That's what we're preparing for daily, for the next opportunity to show up for your need and to make it better. Our vision is continuous improvement through intentional efforts for excellence. Excellence is something that we know we'll never get to, but it keeps us moving forward to something better than what you see today.
Awesome. Well, Deputy Chief Smith, what makes this department so special to you?
That's a deep question. Been a part of the Bowling Green Fire Department for 21 years, and it's the greatest career that anybody could ever hope for. To serve the public the way we do, I think back through the years of all the thousands of individuals that I've been privileged, honored to be able to help. It's the best job anybody could ever have. But the tradition that goes back 124 years this year is special. Next year we're looking at a big anniversary of 125 years that we've been serving the people of the city of Bowling Green. It's a wonderful tradition that I'm proud to be a part of.
Absolutely, and I'm glad to be a part of it as well, along with you gentlemen being my leadership. Well, do we want to pop that pizza in the oven there? It's looking awesome.
Absolutely. I'm going to finish it up real quick with a little bit more vegetables, also some bacon, and then another little round of cheese right there on top.
Thank
And
you
it'll
for
be
putting the
ready.
bacon on it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, we like bacon.
Finish this up. Be ready to go in the oven. We've got a little bit of garnish right there on the side. Some coarse ground sea salt, a little bit of Italian seasoning, and some crushed red pepper. And this will be ready to go in the oven. Looks beautiful.
Yeah, looks like the pizza's about done. Let's taste it. Awesome.
There you go. Couple of knives right back
Yeah,
here.
grab a knife.
So when you make these pizzas, if you put a lot of fresh toppings on there, you've got to cook it just a little bit longer than what it calls for. So we did this at 425 for about 15 minutes. There you go. Right. You hand me that spatula right over there. There you go. Ooh.
It's good.
Fine job.
Well, folks, thank you for joining us for another edition of Firehouse Kitchen. I'd like to give a big thanks to WKU Media for allowing us to use their studio. And I'd also like to give you a big thanks to our administration staff for coming by, sharing the recipe, along with some nice fire tips. To view this video and more, visit bgky.org/videos, and you'll get a link to this recipe as well as all the others on the rest of the editions. Thanks.